Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology Channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahajani, help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic Astrology. In last video, we discussed about the 7th house Bhavat Bhavam in Vedic Astrology. Bhavat Bhavam is house to house relationship. In this video, we are going to talk about the 8th house Bhavat Bhavam in Vedic Astrology. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology Channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahajani, help you raise your vibes and become your true self with the help of Vedic Astrology. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. You will be getting Vedic astrological videos just like this one. And if you are not following me on Instagram, this is my ID. Just follow me on Instagram. And if you have any questions, ask me on Instagram. You will get instant reply. These videos will help you go further faster into Vedic astrological studies. Today we are going to talk about the 8th house Bhavat Bhavam. But before we start talking about the 8th house Bhavat Bhavam, let us first discuss what is 8th house. When we say 8th house, we mean 8th house from the ascendant. Each house has 8th house from itself, and that is the death sign, that is the death house for that particular house. 8th house is 8th house for ascendant. But for 4th house, 11th house is the 8th house. For 2nd house, 9th house is the death house. That is the 8th house. Okay. So each house has the 8th house. Okay. Second point is 8th from 8th is the Bhavat Bhavam for the 8th house. Let's start counting 8 houses from the 8th house. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, ascendant, 2nd and 3rd. So the 3rd house is 8th from the 8th. So 3rd house is the Bhavat Bhavam for the 8th house. That is why they say that is 3rd house is the Maraka house. It is the ultimate Maraka house because it is 8th from the 8th house. And what is the Karaka for the 8th house? Saturn is the Karaka for the 8th house. Saturn is the Karaka for aging, about death, about restrictions, about inabilities. 8th house is about the death and rebirth. 8th house is about the transformation. Here is the thing about 8th house. 8th house is not only about death, it is also the death and rebirth. The interesting thing about the 8th house is there are 5 houses beyond the house of death. 8th house is the house of death, okay, but the ultimate dissolution of the soul, that is moksha, is at the 12th house. It is not at the 8th house. So after the death, there is the 9th house of bhagya. Then comes the karma. Then comes lavasthan, and then there is the dissolution of the soul. So the soul which was born, that is the ascendant, the body with which we are experiencing this life, will get dissolved at the 12th house. Energy can never be destroyed. It can just be transferred from one form to the other. So we are in this form. We might die. We will die one day and will move on. But that won't be our final liberation. Or maybe for some people that will be the final liberation. But for most of us, it won't be the final liberation. So there is a life beyond the death. There is bhagya beyond the death. There is karma, there is lava, and then there is a dissolution of the soul, the 12th house. Okay. So each house has the death house. Okay. So this was part 2 of this, like the Bhavat Bhavam for the 8th house. That is the 3rd house. What is the 3rd house? 3rd house is the house of your hobbies, your younger siblings, your communication, media, you writing letter, short journeys. All these are the ultimate maraka, the signification of the ultimate maraka for you. Okay. So the 3rd house is the ultimate maraka and the Bhavat Bhavam for the 8th house. So let us move on to the part 3 of this video, wherein we will discuss the 8th house in context with all other houses. Let's get started with that. 8th house is 12th to the 9th house. 9th house, what is 9th house? 9th house is the house of hope, is a house of higher belief, Jupiterian thing, and 8th house is the darkest thing. Here, I forgot to mention one thing about the 8th house. 8th house is also about the things which are buried underground, is mysterious, is occult, things which we cannot see with the bare eyes, which we cannot see with the naked eyes, can be seen from the 8th house of your horoscope. So 8th house is also about the occult. Astrology also comes in the 8th house. So if you have strong 8th and 3rd house, chances are that you are interested and inclined towards the astrology, jyotish. So 8th house, let's start the part 3 for this video, wherein we will be discussing the 8th house in context with the all other houses. 8th house is 12th to the 9th house. What is 9th house? 9th house is about your hopes. 9th house is about the higher belief. It is about the extreme positivity. It is about the enthusiasm and positivity in your life. It is the fiery sign ruled by Jupiter in Kalapurush Kundali. The first sign of Jupiter, the sign ruled by Jupiter, which is all about hope, wishes, and not wishes. Wishes is more of 11th house, but it is about the hopes and higher beliefs. You believe in some spiritual practice, you believe in religion, God, and all that stuff which you can't experience otherwise. You have to believe it. Okay, so these higher beliefs, these positive higher beliefs can be seen from the 9th house. And what is 8th house? 8th house is kind of a negative house. I won't say negative, but in context with the 9th house is extremely positive, fiery. Fire is life, by the way. That is why the Aries sign, the first sign of your zodiac, is ruled by Mars, which rules the element of fire. So 8th house is kind of a negative and pessimistic house because the karaka for it is Saturn. So it does not believe in the Jupiterian thing. It is more realistic. That's why he is negative. He just see the things as it is. He is not ready to accept things which he cannot see. He is like a scientist. Okay, so 8th house is 12th to the 9th house. 8th house is 11th to the 10th house. 8th house is about the labha of your karma. Whatever you are doing, the sudden ups and downs can bring you down or take you up. So if you have Saturn going through the 8th house, which is also the karaka of the 8th house, or Jupiter going through the 8th house, transiting into your natal chart, you will have sudden rise in your workplace. More so if Saturn, because Saturn also will aspect the 10th house from the 8th house. Apart from being 11th from the 10th, it will also aspect the 10th house. Okay, so the 11th house, 8th house is 10 places away from the 11th house. So your labha, the 8th house is kind of a karma sthan for your labha. So whatever ups and downs you have in your life will determine the final labha you will have in your life. Just like for karma, labha is dhana to the karma. Whatever you are doing, you are getting the benefits of it, the dhana, the positive side of your karma. You are getting into the labha sthan. In the 8th house is 10th from the 11th. 8th house is 9 places away from the 12th house. Now 12th and 8th house are in the same trikon, the same moksha trikon. The 4, 8, 12 are the moksha trikon houses. So 8 and 12 are 5, 9 places. They call it Nava Pancham. Nava is 9, Pancham is 5. So they are always in 9 to 5 relationship with each other. And 4 is also 9 to 5 relationship with house number 8 and house number 12. So it is kind of a trine. 4 will be either 5 or 9 places away from 8th and 12th. So 12th is 5 places away from the 8th house. Okay. So for ascendant, we know it is 8th house is 8 places away from the ascendant. For second house, it is the 7 places away from the second house. What is second house? Second house is a dhanasthana, things which we value. And it is the second and eighth house. Eighth house is more of a dhanasthan for your partner, and second house is a dhanasthan for yourself. So your dhanasthana is 7 places away from the 8th house, which is also the house of your inheritance and your sudden ups and downs. Third house is 8 places away from the third, and 8th house is 6 places away from the third house. So it is also the kind of dishtana house for the third house, and 8 places away from the 8th house. So fourth house we also we discussed that it is in the trine with 12 and 8, and fifth house. So 8th house is 4 places away from the 5th house. The self effort for the 6th house, that is the health, disease and obstacles into the sudden calamity or the death. You can see both positive ups and downs as well as life and death from the 8th house. Okay, and 8th house is second to the 7th house, which is a positive house for the 7th house. It is the house of family of your spouse. It is the house of your in-laws. So it is kind of supporting house for the 7th house, which is the house of your partner. So yes, this was 7th house, as much as I could hold, grasp and share with you guys. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. You will be getting Vedic astrological videos just like this one. Hit that like button, share this video with your friends and family, and sending you high vibes, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.